Hello again, everybody. This is Derek coming back at you with another live stream for Wargaming in Miniature. Okay, so I'm taking a short little pause here while I listen for my water that is boiling. I'm preparing to make some tea. So, yeah, so I'm just waiting for that. Now, we're going to get straight into it today. I'm going to start painting these French line infantry, and I'm going to be doing their jackets. Right, we're going to start off by doing the jackets. I considered doing the faces first, but I'm going to do the faces after I do the jackets. The jackets, I don't have to keep them between the lines. I just I want to what's the word? I'm just gonna slap it on there. I could use a giant brush because I'm gonna be going back in later and painting uh, like around the pants and the turnbacks and backpacks and stuff like that, and the straps uh, after. So because this is one of the lower coats, I can be messy with it. I don't know if you can hear the water, but it's starting to get a little warm. I can hear it in there, kind of bubbling. Um, yeah. So let me get to my files. I'm expecting some boxes in today, but that's about it. Live stream. No. Okay. I put this in the wrong spot. Marshals and Generals. Okay. P.S. That's the name of my game that I am writing. But I'm not in any hurry to write it. That's what's kind of funny. It's been a while. I haven't really written a whole lot to it, and I'm in the process of possibly making a big change to my thought process on that game. I have Freeman's Farm in my Waterloo project. What the heck? Okay. Ah, here we are. This is not what I wanted. Yeah, I'll just close that and start fresh. Second, I gotta reach over. Uh, okay. See if I can make this a Peninsular. Okay, I'm hearing my water boiling. Give me a second. All right, so now I'm gonna let that steep for a while. Okay, so now, what I've noticed is when I paint a figure, I usually paint somewhere in the between 15 and 20 different colors. Normally, okay, that's blurry. That's not a very good plate. Those are lights. I don't want that. I mean, that pretty much says exactly what I mean, I like to pull up a plate just to make sure that I'm not making any mistakes or anything like that. But I painted enough French that I don't really need to worry about any of that. Not truly, anyway. Okay, so I've got my screens all in the wrong places. Yeah, I could have swore that I saved that plate, because that's the one I was using before. Not worried about it. All right, so we're going to be using dark blue. I have a color that's called French blue. I'm reaching. Okay. I have a color called French blue. It gives it gives it a little bit more of that color. I mean, it's not that light, but it comes off as being between these two. Like it's very light and not that light, right? Because it still needs to be mixed up. More like this. And that's not the color it should be. It should be closer to this color. Not navy blue, but like a dark blue. This color would be good as well. This is Signar Blue Highlight, and the highlight would be very good. There is a Signar Blue as well. I don't have it over there. Boy, I had to sneeze. It just came upon me. Okay. Something hit the back door. But it's windy and rainy outside, so maybe it's just something's slapping up against the window. That's possible. Okay, so these two are very similar, almost identical, but they're just a little bit too light. So we're going with the dark blue, right? Because the dark blue is more appropriate for a French jacket. So how is everybody doing today? Is everybody going to have a good Thanksgiving? Okay, there we go. Okay, let me swap my monocles out. Monocle meaning one, but then when you say monocles with an S, you know, you got two individual glasses. So they're monocles. I don't know, I'm just being ridiculous. Okay, this is going to take, oh, what I was getting at. Okay, there's some heavy models, and then there are some light models. Some models getting stuck on things. I don't know what they would be getting stuck on. But I think they're just heavy. Well, they're getting stuck on my finger. I think I'm going to take both of these off. I'm not going to be doing any cutting. The only reason why I wear them is to make sure these band-aids don't come unraveled, you know, while I'm doing my daily chores or what have you. Okay. And I apologize for you coming to watch this. It's not as bad as watching paint dry, but it's pretty close. I did quite a bit of talking about not Waterloo, um, Traveler yesterday on the stream, talking about, and one of the players I had to remove from my list. Nothing negative, you know. He seemed like a nice guy, but his work schedule. He joined the game thinking we were going to play in the morning. He has to go to work at like 8 a.m. No. Back up. That's when he was free to play. Was 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. 8 to 11. That's, first of all, that's only like 3 hours. And, okay. Coming out of this lid, it's going to be, I'm going to have to go into the bottle. I hate doing it because I can't see down into the bottle where my paintbrush is going. Okay, I was trying to avoid the turnbacks because they're already primed. But then I thought to myself, just paint it. And I don't know if you know this, but there's like a little roll up underneath the ammo cartridge case. That little roll is their campaign cap. It's their little blue campaign cap. So just go ahead and paint it blue. Now, I also decided to paint this blue because I think it's going to be the most tedious. Now, I could be like avoiding straps and stuff like that. Coatees. But I'm going to be going back over the model probably after I apply a wash just to paint the white straps. And by doing it after the wash, you get a really clean strap look. No wash residue or anything on the white straps. Unless you want it to be a dirty strap, then just leave it. Okay. And constantly going back and forth and back and forth. I could just paint the fronts of all these guys and then go to the backs. That's what I like to normally do, is just paint what I can see without having to turn the model. On everyone, like an assembly line or whatever. And then go in and turn the model and do it again. Now I'm trying not to paint the collars and cuffs, because if it was blue and then you had to paint the red on top of it, it wouldn't look the same as if you painted the red on top of the white. It'd be brighter with the white. It'd be darker if you painted blue. Or if you primed black or something. Okay, my point earlier when I was talking about there's normally about 15 to 20 different colors that I put on every model. If I paint one or two colors a day, right, that's kind of like my my default, is I try to paint one or two colors per day. That means somewhere between 7 and 10 days they'll be done. And that's just it's something that has allowed me to paint my own personal models and keep myself motivated. I don't try to paint the entire thing in one setting, because if I spend like all day painting, it might burn you out, right? You might get paint fatigue. And if you get paint fatigue, you might put the your army down and not pick it up for a week or two. But if you just gradually, you know, the train going up the hill, chugging along a little bit at a time, it'll actually be done faster. Like the hare and the tortoise. Okay, what am I doing? I'm starting to paint that whole model. I don't want to do that. I just want to paint the backs of the left arm or right arm. Um, yeah, okay. And that's the way I'm feeling about setting up this traveler campaign as well. I'm putting my philosophy, slow but steady, um, to 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 use. Um, I'm setting up like one world at a time, or you know, one spaceship, one character. I'm trying not to overwhelm myself setting up this campaign. Because it's going to be a lot of work. And the reason why I say that, I play on Roll20, and Roll20 doesn't have any traveler. Um, it has a traveler character sheet, which is all you need. But then there's no maps and no NPCs and no spaceships and no rules. Nothing is uploaded. They really had put a focus on Dungeons and Dragons. Um, but it's it's a good enough tool that I can upload it all myself, right? I just got my PDFs and screenshots, and uh, okay, I'm making sure that I hit all the little um, caps underneath the cartridge case. Okay. And there's this little blue triangle, a very small little blue triangle that would be underneath the turnbacks, at the bottom of the turnback. Got to make sure I hit that. I mean, it's super easy to overlook. And then when I go in and actually paint the turnbacks, it'll be perfect. Okay, so we got the left arm and body. Okay, before I do any of that, make sure I get behind the backpacks. The hidden areas, you know what I mean? Okay. Got it. Now the backs of the arms and the left side of the body. Okay. Now on big colors like this blue, um, I would be happy with just doing the blue in one day. But normally I'll do 2 or 3 colors a day. If it's small. Like let's say I'm just painting, and I try to focus on items as well. So let's say I'm just painting the bedrolls on the top of their backpacks, right? Well, that's not going to take very long. I just that'll take me just a couple of minutes. And so I do that. And then I might also do the cartridge case, which is black, right? And there are a number of different things on the model that are black. But I try to stick with one item. Like I'll do all the cartridge cases black. Okay, hold on. Did I just fit? Nope. I was gonna say, did I just finish this this stick? I did not. I'm double checking to make sure there's not a missed spot. And a lot of times your wash will disguise any missed spots, but you don't want to rely on that. You want to use that only in emergency, like, yay, it saved me. But not like, oh, I'm going to leave that empty because the wash will just cover that. All right. Where's my focus? Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay, I meant to say something about either the colors or the painting or something. Maybe I meant to say something about the store. I don't remember, but I had something in my head and then I lost my train of thought. So I apologize. Okay, these are elites. Or so they think. Oh, I'm just kidding. They have epaulets. So I'm avoiding the epaulets. If I get a little on the epaulet, no big deal. Because again, I'm going to be painting over those. Trying to get behind the backpack right now, around the neck. The upper back, actually, you know. There's like just a fraction of an inch of model exposed there. I'm trying to make sure I hit it. Yeah, so I've uploaded a bunch of models last night. Got almost everything caught up. One thing I have not done is uploaded any of the Warlord Games books. I've still not uploaded those. Because I was taking pictures of my fantasy models and uploading all of those. Okay, so we got behind the back of all these guys. Now, they don't... Oh, yeah, these are all exactly the same pose. I forgot. The elites in this box, there's only one elite pose. So if you're an elite, you're in this one pose. Which is kind of a sad thing when it You know, I'm kind of disappointed about that a little bit. But this is not my army. This is a commission. Not for me to say what this guy wants. But if it was me, I would probably go to like offensive miniatures or Perry, and I would buy some elites. If I knew, he probably didn't know. If I knew they were all going to be the exact same pose. Okay, we got everybody's left side. Now we're going to work on their right side. So I've got I fly the American flag um, on my front porch. You know, I love this country and we represent. We got this flag flying out front. Now, over time, you know, being out in the sun or whatever, it fades and loses its luster. And yesterday I went out to the mailbox to put my shipment out, and lo and behold, in the mailbox was an American flag. A new one, still in the packaging and all that. Um, that's kind of very nice of whoever did that. And um, it's appreciated. Let's just say that. Because now I can just go out to I can just go replace the flag. All right, let's do the backs of these arms and the body. let's not jump the gun. I was getting ready to paint the turnbacks, or not the turnbacks, but the material between the turnbacks. Decided to hold off on that and do that as a pass. Yeah, I used to own a store. I mean, you could probably see it on my shirt. It says Stronghold Store. But I got this shirt back when I was a Stronghold for for DCI, or yeah, I'm trying to remember, but I think that's the initials. It was basically the card tournament. It was basically a club that you would go to these various card tournaments around the world, and you'd get like a DCI rating, and you'd have a DCI number. And then if you were a tournament organizer, you could organize it using the DCI rules. Card games that I'm talking about are things like Magic the Gathering. And if you run a certain number of tournaments, utilizing their tournament rules or whatever, you can become a Stronghold store, which I did. Looking back on it, it was kind of, I don't think it cost anything. I think it was just, you know, I don't know why DCI was such a popular scam, but that's all it is. Some person somewhere said, if you use our rules, it'll be official. Well, who put you in charge? Nobody put you in charge. But because so many people recognized it, it became like the official brand of tournaments. But what I was saying was, we would play these Warhammer tournaments, like Warhammer 40K, Warhammer Fantasy. We would, and Games Workshop had their own set of rules. It was not DCI. Well, first of all, it's not a card game; it's a miniature game. But they had their own set of rules and stuff like that, which we tried to abide by because it basically gave the tournament credibility, if you want to call it that. Yeah, there we go. And I had a store rule that there was no exceptions to this rule. If you put a miniature on the table, well, first of all, I was a stickler for using official miniatures. Right? You had to use, if you want to play in a Warhammer tournament, you would have to use Warhammer miniatures. Right? So you couldn't buy some Reaper miniature of a Lich and then put it on the table saying it was a Lich from Warhammer. That is the first rule. You had to use officially sanctioned miniatures or whatever. Um, which nobody had a problem with because that's what everybody was using anyway. And then what that kind of did was it weeded out the players that were lesser. That's right, I said it. I'm going to say something right now that might offend some people. Um, and that's not my intent, but it was a reality. There were players, or let me rephrase that. There were, yeah, there were players that felt, superior? I don't know if that's really a word. They felt dedicated, maybe a word. Committed. You know, they were very, not adamant, but very enthusiastic about their armies and about their composition and army lists and the rule books that they were using and the terrain that was on the table, and you know, extremely into the hobby. Like they would definitely paint their models to the best of their ability, and you know, everything was, you know, and professional. Let's put that word. It was very professional, like very dedicated. We're not done. I'm just gonna shake this up and clean my brush a little bit, and then continue. Okay, my son's getting a phone call. It seems like. And by enforcing some of these rules that I'm going to share with you, it weeded out of the tournaments and of the competitions. It weeded them out, the people that were not committed or not dedicated or not professional. And it elevated the tournament to a level of professionalism and commitment that just letting any ragbag come in to a tournament would bring the tournament down to the street level. You know what I'm saying? So when there were players that came in with unpainted models, I would have to deny them entry into the tournaments. I always posted that your figure had to be fully painted, right? Now, I did have a player that wanted to know what that meant, right? What does fully painted mean? First of all, you shouldn't have to ask. But he would take a miniature, tie a string around the base, take a pot of house paint, and he would dunk the miniature in the house paint. He would pull it up and hang it up and let it drip dry. Let's just say black or silver or whatever. He would dunk it in there and pull it out, and it would be painted like that. And he presented these miniatures to me. Well, first of all, house paint is not thin enough to get down into all the cracks and stuff. Well, it'll get down into all the cracks, but it'll also fill them all up. So basically, he had these Space Marines that were just balls of paint. I mean, not literally. I mean, you could tell what they were, but they were ruined. And I told him, I basically came up with a rule specifically because of him. This one guy, Charles, I remember him distinctly, literally, distinctly. He had a hygiene problem too. But I made a rule, and I made it kind of, I announced it. I say, if a full color comic book is 4 colors, right? If that's all you need, like a 4-color comic, then that's what I'm going to say at a minimum has to be on a miniature. You have to have at least 4 colors. And he took that to heart. He would dunk the miniature in like black, let it dry, and then he would just dunk the top, like the heads of the models, in silver. And then he would have this black body and a silver head. And then he would go in and paint like the weapon with a color, like red or something. And then he would, and it wouldn't be well painted. It would just be like, you know, and then maybe a symbol or something on the leg. And then it would be considered fully painted. And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, well, he's abiding by the rules, you know, that I set forward. Because the rule isn't it has to be well painted. It just has to be fully painted. Yeah, oh, wait. I got a chat that I can't see because my glasses. Okay, what do we got? What do we got? Sketchy Business says, oh, awfully nice, whoever your neighbor is. Yeah. I think that you're talking about the flag, I assume. Yeah, somebody probably in the neighborhood drives by, you know, the house, and they probably saw that our flag was starting to fade, and they're probably as patriotic, if not more, than we are, and decided to help out. I think that's just awesome. It warms my heart. Okay. All right. More French action. This is boring. Only because it's the same thing over and over and over. So once I get this blue done and I start working on other aspects of these miniatures, my enjoyment level is going to go up. Won't be today, probably won't be tomorrow or the next day that you will see it. I might work on them, but I'm not going to be on camera. Hopefully everybody's going to have a great Thanksgiving. I'm hearing the mail outside, but I don't know if my boxes are coming via mail or UPS or FedEx or... And it's not that important. They're just shipping boxes. They're going to go on my next store update. My store updates are sometimes pretty comical. I don't laugh, but I'm laughing inside because I present some silly news about the store, or but it is news. It's things that actually matter to me, but I can't see why it would matter to you. But I share it anyway because it's like transparency, just letting everyone know what is going on. Like, if I get a roll of tape for shipping, I would put that in my store news update. Like, all right, guys, we got a roll of tape. The last one I kind of giggled at was when I got these manila envelopes. I had been using these white envelopes, but the white envelopes are very thin, um, almost too thin. And so when I reordered envelopes, I decided to go with a heavier, thicker paper, and it wound up, when I was searching, it wound up being these manila envelopes, which is perfectly fine. But I made that announcement on the store news update. We got manila envelopes. Now, I still haven't got my V&V order in. I'm really looking forward to that. But I thought about this. Um, I think it was last night. I think I was thinking about this. I think I mentioned yesterday during the video that Tamaya has a plastic cement, but it's designed for ABS plastic, right? Which is what the Rubicon models are made out of. And just regular plastic cement wouldn't work. So I was probably, if I was building a Rubicon model, I would probably use like a super glue of some kind. Um, and uh, but the other night, I noticed that Tamaya has um, an ABS plastic cement. And I thought about ordering it just for the Rubicon models, that I plan to do, and Rubicon basing and stuff like that. But because they have these plastic bases, and I did an experiment with plastic cement on the Rubicon bases, and it does not stick to it. Right? The plastic cement doesn't work on that plastic. Which the only reason why I did this test was because one of you guys, one of my community, had mentioned to me that Rubicon requires a different type of glue. And I was like, yeah, you're bullshitting me. So I tested it, and he was right. So I actually thought about buying this glue. But then I said to myself, why am I getting this glue? I would basically be getting this glue, testing it on camera just so that everybody can see, the quality of the glue versus, comparing the two glues. And that's it. And then I would sit it on the shelf and I'd never see it again. And I said, so I probably won't order it. Okay, hold on. Hold the phone. Okay, here we go. Okay. And then last night, after, while I was doing some traveler work, I thought about it. I was like, I was checking on that V&V order, and it dawned on me that V&V is also a plastic resin. And I was thinking to myself, I wonder if it's going to be ABS. So I'm not going to do anything now. I was going to jump the gun and just order it and have it just in case. But then I thought, nope, let's not order it. Let's let the V&V order come in. I will use the plastic cement on it. And if it doesn't work, then at that point, then I'll go order that ABS glue and compare it to like a super glue. Yeah, okay. So I'm not getting the ABS glue in until I know I need it. Like if I decide to put together a Rubicon model, which um, I've never done. In January, you might see a large selection of painted 28 millimeter armor. So just letting you know, I'm getting ready to binge paint some 28 millimeter armor. World War II. But that won't be till after Christmas, probably. Okay. So I definitely hear the mail carrier coming this way down the road. And those boxes, they probably are not going to fit in our mailbox. You're probably going to have to put them on our porch. Okay. Double check the cuffs. Oh, yep, there we go. There's the spot. And now the tails. Oh yeah, not just the tail. You got to do the little blue thing underneath the ammo cartridge box. I always forget that until I get right to it. Like when I paint around it, I'm like, oh yeah, I got to paint that. Okay, so let's do the tails and the box all at once. I guess it's not a box, it's a floppy hat. Now, what's funny is the models that I glued floppy hats, the campaign hat, to the model, their cartridge case is still going to have a campaign cap on it. Now, I could go in there and trim and cut that cap off and stuff so that the guys with the campaign caps won't have the campaign caps rolled up under their ammo cartridge case. But I'm not doing that. He'll just have a spare. I think that's being anal. That's just taking your figure one step too far. Even on my own personal models, or I should say, even on my personal models, I paint them exactly the same way as I do my commissions, so that's not what I'm trying to say. Even on the models that I want to take my time on and make sure that everything is perfectly painted, I still wouldn't do that. I still wouldn't cut that off. There's Romans, right? The Roman legionaries or whatever. They're carrying these swords in sheaths on their hips, and then but they're also holding a sword in their hand. I'm not going to cut the little hilt off of the sheath to make it look like it's an empty sword sheath. I think that's being a little anal as well. I'm just going to put the sheath on the guy. Well, if it's a separate piece that I glue onto the model and I can get to it super easy and just clip it off, yeah, I'll do that. But if it's molded into the body or his legs or whatever, and I would have to really do some work to make it disappear, I'm not doing that. Like I said, he's got a spare. Okay. Oh, wait. That's why you double check your work. I didn't do the soft cap. Okay, everybody's soft cap is done. tails all look done. Shoulders, arms. Okay. Gotta make sure I get all the unders as well. See, that's why I'm checking unders. Okay. Yep. He is good. Okay. Yeah, I realized my store, right? I sell various items, and then like on the auctions, they have this automation rule that you can assign to your items that if they don't sell, they'll relist them automatically. Um, and I got this notification that a couple of my items were not relisted due to errors or something like that, which is odd. So I went in and checked those items, fixed the error, and relisted them. So listed them manually. Just so you know, I've got some walls and hedges that for some reason didn't want to relist. They're now on there. And because they're scratch built, I included them in the sale because the sale is on painted and built items. Basically finished items. Not new in the box. Anything new in the box is not on sale. The sale lasts till the 8th. And I thought about another sale, right? Or Christmas sale or end of the year sale or something like that. Or however we want to list it. I don't know what I want to do. Um, yeah, I don't know what I want to do. I'm noticing that I don't have a whole lot of sci-fi on my channel, on my store. Um, that's all right. I'm not going out of my way to get sci-fi. I have a ton of like traveler miniatures and ships and stuff, but I don't think I'm going to sell those. And I have some Gates of Antares miniatures that, like, I have some Concordant, which is basically like the humans, I think. Um, they're just primed white. I think I've got some Algorans still on the sprue, I think. So I might sell those on the sprue now that I think about it. And Gar. I've got some Gar like mech suits um, assembled and primed. I might sell those like as is. Yeah, I might sell those as is. Because I just don't have the time to paint them. That's really not true. Okay, let me rephrase that. I have other projects that I would prefer to paint first. And that's why I've owned these guys for a while now. And I assembled them and I got them ready. Like some of them I got primed and stuff. But I just never really felt the urge to finish them. If you don't know anything about Gates of Antares, it's an outstanding game. It's basically almost exactly bolt action. It's science fiction bolt action. Uses command dice and all the exact same rule mechanics as bolt action. But instead of a d6, he uses a d10. Which I personally believe is a better rule mechanic. D10s are better than D6s, in my opinion. Any rules that use D10s have a larger variety of outcomes. just due to the fact that there's more numbers on the die. So your modifiers become less valuable because a +1 on a d6 is way better than a +1 on a d10. So then it becomes less about modifiers and more about the dice. Some people don't like that. Some people don't like the randomness. And it really doesn't matter because if I wanted a big modifier, I could always just say +2. Well, that's the difference between 20% and 16%, but that's okay. All right. It's just that I never had this like urge to play it. I just liked the models and the story and stuff like that because I felt like I can scratch that itch with bolt action. And who doesn't like World War II, you know? When you start getting into sci-fi, you start to get into fantasy weapons, you know, and sci-fi tanks and like flying drones and stuff. It just it just wasn't for me. So I've got all these miniatures half baked. I've had them for years. So I probably should bust them out and put them on the site. And if they sell, they sell. If they don't, that's okay because one day I might want to go ahead and pull them out and paint them. Okay. Now, apparently today I didn't have a whole lot to share with you guys. Um, it is kind of bad weather out there today, raining and thundering and stuff like that. It's not really rain, it's more like a drizzle. But I'm not sure about the protocol of a flag. Am I supposed to take it down when it's raining? Now, we don't have a flag pole. I guess it is a flagpole, but it's not one of those that you raise and lower a flag. It's just sticking out from the front of the house. You know? Okay. I think I might drop a couple of drops of water in this. Not too many, because it's doing really well. It's just I feel like it's a little bit too thick. I could always use Vallejo, but since I have this color, might as well just use it, right? So my point is, what I was trying to say is, I want to exchange that flag, put it out there today before it gets too late. Yeah, see how long it's taken me to do these? Hours. All right, so this is just going to be nonstop all day, and I really don't have anything else to say to you guys. Nothing really awe-inspiring or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the video right here, and I'm probably going to go hang the flag real quick, and then I'll come back and I'll finish painting these. So yeah, take care and have a good holiday, and I'll see you um, maybe next week. I'm not sure exactly when I'll be back on. I know I have some videos that I've recorded that I'm going to be uploading, but I'm live probably won't be till next week. All right, and that's why it's Wargaming Weekly. It should only be once a week, but these last few weeks I've been doing it like 2 or 3 times a day, or 2 or 3 times a week. All right, you guys take a good